Hi, my name's Steve Sharp from Esteem Therapy Yorkshire. Welcome to this audio version of Module 1 of my free recovery from sexual addiction program, which I call Vicious to Virtuous. There are 6 modules in total, all free on my website, which together are designed to break your vicious addiction cycle and shift you to a healthy, virtuous one where you are in control. Module 1 will get you started on the road to recovery from porn and sex addiction, with 6 really easy techniques for building and strengthening your commitment to change. So before we go any further, let's touch on the nature of commitment and why it is so important to recovery. Commitment to change is the most critical element of being successful in achieving full recovery from addictive behaviors. Strong determination, willpower, and ultimatums from partners can go some way, but without personal commitment to the cause, you may lack the emotional and psychological momentum or strength to behave differently when it counts during your recovery program. Common to all addictions is the all-powerful cravings, which are based on habits laid down over many years. These have automated the brain, which can now act almost as if it was independent of you. So addiction recovery is mostly about regaining control over your brain, which is constantly on a mission to seek out more and more exciting sexual stimuli. Building commitment is based on getting back in touch with your values, aspirations, and a positive self-esteem, because over time your addicted brain has taken these away and in effect buried them. This module will start the process of rediscovering these important self-protective mechanisms and putting you back in control. So, activity 1, just for a few moments, give consideration to what you feel is your level of commitment to change, and then score it on a scale of 1, which is weak, to 10, really strong. Obviously, honesty to self is the best policy here. Now, anything more than 7 most likely means that your commitment is steady enough to withstand the pull of many compulsive urges as you go through a recovery program. What I would suggest is that you should crack on with the Vicious to Virtuous program. A score of between 3 and 7 means that you have sufficient commitment to get you underway with this work, but you need to focus hard on building the commitment up in the early stages before moving on too quickly. A score of less than 3 on your level of commitment is likely to mean that whilst you have a fragile sense of a problem that needs sorting out, you are not yet ready to tackle it, certainly not independently and without the helping hands of a treatment therapist. In this case, stay with this module for a few weeks to a month or 2 to crystallize your commitment to change. Adopting the strategies below will help to build commitment if you scored low, and to sustain it where you scored more highly as you progress into recovery work. So activity 2 is a series of steps, 6 of them, which you can practice over the next few weeks. And the first one is thinking about the huge benefits of stopping. Now, at the moment, these are probably being put in the shadows by your addictive habits, and these need to come out of the shadows and be given a higher profile in your automatic thinking, so that the brain doesn't just go to the fake benefits of acting out with sex and porn. It's more likely to think about the benefits of stopping. So reinforce these benefits through hourly reminders. So once you've got these benefits, I'm going to ask you to name them in a moment or 2, you can reinforce them mentally through looking at them a couple of times a day and just sort of practicing them and retraining the brain about these. So I want you to think about and write down, when you've got a moment, what is the biggest benefit, the second benefit, the third benefit, and the fourth benefit of getting into recovery. So for example, for many clients, the biggest benefit is that they will feel good about themselves and not feel shameful all the time. The second benefit is that they can say they are able to say, I'm no longer being deceitful to my partner. A third benefit might be, I will regain many lost hours of my time and achieve my goals instead. And the fourth benefit might be, I will get my life back in order and start making new friends. Second part of activity 2 is to start building your automated disapproval about the costs and negative consequences of acting out, whether these are actually experienced or just potential. Think about these, and when you've got a moment, write these down and try and look at these every day. Spend 5 minutes every few hours training your brain by thinking about these again, so that you can keep these at the forefront of your daily thoughts and your daily routine. Now, typical negative consequences are things like loss of marriage or family, loss of job, loss of money, loss of self-esteem, maybe a worse scenario, police knocking at the door. So I'm going to ask you to think about and write down the biggest negative impact of acting out on sex and porn for you. Then the second negative impact, the third and the fourth negative impacts as well. So examples here that my clients often give me, the biggest negative impact is that they're betraying their partner and damaging the relationship to breaking point, and then possibly losing connection with their children. A second negative impact might be losing normal sexual functioning and not being able to be properly intimate with a partner due to performance problems in bed. A third negative impact might be feeling really down about yourself and being stuck in a vicious cycle of acting out to lift yourself briefly, only to be dumped back down again. An example of a negative impact, a fourth one here, the loss of money wasted on escorts, on webcams, on porn sites, and then getting into debt. The third part of activity 2 is to think about your core values. Now, these often, for most addicts, need revitalizing. Again, somehow they've got pushed to the background by the distortions in the brain. And these core values need adding, like the above work we've done, to your daily mantras so that your brain is reminded where you stand on boundaries and what it means to you to be doing the right thing. So I'm going to get you to think about listing your top 10 values and look at the list on a daily basis. Write them down, stick them on the back of your wardrobe door or put them on your phone. Now, if you struggle to think of 10 values that are meaningful for you, drop me an email or a message through the website and I'll send you a free values worksheet. Typical values are respect for self and others, integrity, honesty, resourcefulness, being caring or reliable, etc. Fourth part of activity 2 is to commit yourself to the view and reflect on this daily that addictive behaviors are precisely that, behaviors. This will give you more power and control over addiction. This makes recovery doable because we know that behaviors can be restricted, controlled, and stopped for good, and then replaced with more healthy behaviors. Recall how you have made other changes in your life, like adapting to a new job, or stopping smoking, or learning to drive. Part 5. Accept your problem as a part of the journey towards change. Denying you have a problem that needs sorting will stop you having commitment. Clearly, you have got this far, so there is something, however small, in you, somewhere saying that this isn't right. Stop avoiding or denying the issue. Stop self-destructing. Don't look elsewhere for a definition of the problem. You decide what feels wrong and right for you. Then mentally sign up to the cause. Define precisely what it is that you want to stop and write this down. And then finally, the sixth part of activity 2 is to consider what I call a pruning approach to stopping, as opposed to, say, a cold turkey approach. So scaling back or de-escalating your behaviors over time can be a much less daunting prospect than facing the instant loss of acting out with porn and other sexual addictions with their associated, I would say, fake pleasures. You are less likely to be overwhelmed and immobilized by using such baby steps approaches, which will gradually chip away at the addictive brain. Now, baby steps can include reducing down to every other day, and then on to twice a week, and then down to once a week, and so on. Chipping away at addictive behaviors is perfectly fine if it suits you and you can sustain it. It doesn't have to be a rather daunting sounding cold turkey approach. Thank you for listening to this audio. I hope you're going to listen to module 2, where we'll go into detail about the addictive cycle and what we know of the theory behind how the brain works with addiction and how you can get more in control of it. Bye for now.